is on to the Raiders. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. APW Sports signing in, and for another Chicago Bears preview. Is the Bears are still remaining at home at 1-5 on the year, and they are going to host the Las Vegas Raiders, who come in at 3-3 on the season. Can the Bears find some way to get a game without Fields? Can the Bears finally find the rhythm somehow? Can the Bears actually pull off an upset? We're going to talk about the game in today's video. But nonetheless, without further ado, let's dive into it. First, we're going to talk about the Chicago Bears offense against the defense of the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, the Bears come into the game with a glaring hole at the quarterback position. There's more than likely going to be no Justin Fields this week, and Tyson Bagent is set to make his first career start in the NFL as a rookie. And they're going up against a Raiders defense that I thought was going to be the weak spot of them, especially in their back end, but they have been playing some really solid football, even though Maxx Crosby is listed as questionable at this point, but I think he's going to play. Jerry Tillery has made some plays for them up front, and Bilal Nichols, a former Bear, has been solid for them. And they're going up against the offensive line for the Bears that is banged up. You already have a guy like Braxton Jones, who is still on IR. You have Nate Davis dealing with an ankle injury. You have Darnell White, who is questionable. So this Bears offense, already on top of the Justin Fields injury, has injuries to his offensive line with replacements like Tyler Carter and Larry Borom. And then you had a center position that just, honestly, they cannot get the snap of the quarterback center exchange right, especially in shotgun. And there's been a lot of high snaps. Despite both Fields and Bagent's height, the snaps have still been high. And you're dealing with a lot of injuries at running back. Roschon Johnson still questionable. Travis Homer still questionable. And this Bears offense right now was kind of like how the secondary was for the last couple of weeks. Banged up. Banged up offensively to your core weapons on your backfield, which is your quarterback and running back. And then your offensive line, which hasn't been great to begin with, is banged up still. So the Bears are coming into this game pretty banged up with a lot of injuries, going up against the Raiders defense that has been performing a lot better than my expectations of them. And Maxx Crosby is that dude. Maxx Crosby, he's him. I will be honest. His motor, his ability to rush the passer and play the run well, he's him. So the Bears are going to have to find some type of a way to slow him down. Do I think it's going to happen? Honestly, no. And especially the last couple of weeks, how the pressure has been affecting the Bears. The things that the Vikings did with the blitzes, I could easily see the Raiders doing a similar thing with their blitz packages to kind of confuse and disguise looks for this Bears offense. And on top of that, a rookie quarterback who's making his first career start in Tyson Bagent. And the Bears are going to have to find a way to get DJ Moore the football. That's just point blank, period. You're going to have to find a way to get him the football. Now, you're going against a corner and Marcus Peters, who I think is probably going to be more on him than anybody, who, like Peters, is not a shutdown corner. He's a guy that gambles, he makes interceptions, but he can also get beat. And I think DJ Moore in this offense and Luke Getsy, if he can scheme something up, can take advantage of that gamble ability of a guy like Marcus Peters. Now, the linebacking core with Diablo and Spillane, they really had, I want to say, a solid week over the last couple of weeks, and especially against the Green Bay Packers, where Spillane had 2 interceptions in his own right. So they've been doing some things as far as coverage-wise with those linebackers. So I like some of the things that this Raiders defense can do. And you're going up against the Bears offense that's banged up. It's going to be a tough ask for this Bears offense to really move the football. And they're going to have to kind of unhinge Bagent and don't haul 3 screens in a row. No, you can't do that. You're going to have to let your quarterback play. He's young. He's an undrafted rookie. But there is a reason that you kept him on the roster. You're going to have to unleash him and unhinge him and let him spread the football to some of the weapons and Mooney and Moore and Tyler Scott and Kmet as well. And I think you got to have to get Kmet involved too. So you're going to have to get some of these weapons involved some way, somehow, and use the speed of Jones Jr. and Tyler Scott to kind of do things to manipulate the pass rush and get things offset, because without Justin Fields and with the young quarterback, it's a tough ask, but the Bears are going to have to find a way to do it if they want to win this football game. Now, we're going up against the Raiders offense versus the Bears defense. And just like the Bears at the quarterback position, Jimmy G, questionable with a back injury. So it's starting to look like Brian Hoyer could be the starter, or Aiden O'Connell, which I think is probably going to be Hoyer. You're going to have to go up against, I think, my personal opinion, the best wide receiver in football, and Davante Adams, with Eddie Jackson, who's back banged up. Jacoby Myers has been playing some really solid football for them over the past couple of weeks. He's been one of those targets for whoever, Garoppolo or O'Connell. He's been a consistent target. Michael Mayer, he has been solid, but he has to hold on to the football. And the thing with the Raiders that I've noticed this season is they haven't really gotten their running game going. The Bears did play solid against the run last week against the Vikings, but with a running back like Josh Jacobs, you're going to have to do that again, because the Raiders are a team that they are more successful, I think, the more that they are able to get Josh Jacobs and the running game going. And an offensive line has kind of struggled. And this is a game where I personally think the Bears' defensive line can really have some success because of the struggles and the in and out and the shuffling of the Raiders and their offensive line throughout the course of this season. Now, the secondary, you're going to have to hold up in coverage. Now, it's interesting to see if Eddie Jackson's going to play, but when he hasn't really been that big of a factor as far as the defense goes. I like the fact that Jalen Johnson is back, and that's probably the guy they're going to stick on him, just like the times that Davante Adams was in Green Bay. I really think a guy like Johnson will be on him. Gordon, Brisker, they are all going to have to play some really good football. And that defense really wasn't bad last week against the Vikings, but you all talking about a Vikings offense that really didn't have Justin Jefferson to begin with. But I think what comes down to is this Bears defense is, can they get pressure? Whether it's blitz packages, whether it's the front four, they need to win their one-on-one matchups, they still need to apply some pressure. Because the thing about this Raiders offensive line is just not great. And the Bears, I think, they need to take advantage of it, their schemes, and the way that they can kind of get some things going with their blitz packages and make them get confused a little bit. And I've started to like the way Eberflus is able to call the defensive game, even though it hasn't been great. But I just really think that the Bears on that defensive side of the ball are going to have to create pressure, and they're going to have to keep Josh Jacobs at bay and make this Raiders team one-dimensional, especially with more than likely a backup quarterback in. But with all that said, my pick for this game is going to be, I hate to do it, but I'm going to pick the Raiders in this game. Number one, I just think the way that the offense is schemed, it's more for Fields and not Bagent, even though Bagent did come in and have some success last week. And the injuries to the offensive line and dealing with Maxx, Crosby, and some of the things that they can do with them and where they can line them up, I just don't think the Bears are going to protect well, especially with their own injuries. The running back position still being banged up. And then you're talking about a defense that has to deal with a very good receiving core in Adams, Myers, Hunter Renfrow. Even though they have a backup quarterback, I just have more faith in the Raiders offense to get points than I do the Bears to get points. And I'm going to pick the Raiders in this game. I'm probably going to pick a score of 21-10. I just don't think the Bears are going to score enough. And once the Raiders get ahead, I think they're going to start to run the football to eat some clock and get a bit more comfortable with the things that they're doing offensively. And the Bears, I just think they're not built to play catch-up, and I don't think they will. And the Raiders take this game 21-10, and the Bears drop another one. But hey, that's my thoughts. Leave you guys' picks and thoughts in the comments down below, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.